I'm reppin' Rutgers, yeah, we do it for the R. Scarlet Knights flexing hard, yeah, we gonna raise the bar. All the pride in New Jersey, man, we stand tall and proud. From the Brunswick to the shore, we gon' turn it up real loud. Athletics in our veins, we hustle, we grind. The streets to East Coast, always on our mind. Red and black, we attack, yeah, we never fall back. In the heart of the game, Rutgers putting up the stats.
Jersey strong, yeah, we doing it right. For the R, for the glory, we gon' fight all night. East Coast energy, hit 'em with the hype. Rutgers on the project, taking that flight.
From the glassroom to the field, we excel, we win. Got the spirit of the all, let the games begin. We represent the Garden State. Hustle, grit, no debate. Determination in our eyes, nah, we don't hesitate. We got strength, we got heart. Every play, every ball. Loyalty in our soul from the end to the start. It's a Rutgers way, never sway. Steady on our grind with the pride of New Jersey success we gon' find.
Jersey strong, yeah, we doing it right. For the R, for the glory, we gon' fight all night. East Coast energy, hit 'em with the hype. Rutgers on the project, taking that flight.
Yo, and it's the end still a raw. Scarlet Knights, here a sword. Champion the spirit, break it down every door. Red wave rising, see the power in our stride. With the hearts of a night, we got that Jersey pride. When the lights bright on that Saturday night, Rutgers spirit burning, shining in the fight. In every passing tackle, we blaze with desire. In the halls of the Ivy, setting the field of fire. From the alumni to the youth, we carry the flame. United by the banner in every single game. This is more than just a team. It's the legacy strong for the R, for the glory. We gon' carry on.
What's going on, everyone? It's me, it's Coach Ed. Thanks for tuning in today. Another episode 5 of Doing It For the R, Rutgers University, Rutgers Athletics, where I talk Rutgers Athletics, bringing you my perspective, everything Rutgers, you know, my love, my passion for Rutgers University. So anybody who knows me knows that, you know, I have a deep love for the school and they rep Jersey. I'm a Jersey guy. So, you know, I'm going to dive into it. A lot going on right now into for today's episode. So, you know, I'm going to get into it in a minute. First of all, today's episode is sponsored by the Jersey Bearcats, New Jersey's only arena football team. They were a champion back in 2003, but they didn't make it this year. But they're gearing up to get back into that championship mode. So look out for them in 2025 coming to an arena near you. So I want to dive into the chat real quick and thank everyone for being here. Daniel Berry, my brother, I appreciate you. Always, wherever I'm at, you're one of the first ones in there. So thank you. Tudo, thank you, brother, for being there. Great Scarlet Knight alum himself. So please, everyone in the chat, don't be a ninja. Hit that like button and subscribe to the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. Yes. Thank you for that, Tudo. Yes. Everyone, make sure you hit the like button for this episode on the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. Also on the Hardcore Sports Network, you know, supporting me, and I look to do. To my brother, NYG, thank you, brother, for being here. Going to try, brother. Definitely get it out there. So, yeah, Tudo's putting all the links in the chat. So, you know, make sure you guys tap up with everyone there. So, thanks again for Tudo. So, thanks again, Tudo, for what you bring to the table. So, to start, Rutgers University, the football program, took on and had their first game of the year. So it's a great time. You know, football is back. NFL is starting. And, you know, right now we have the college scene turning up. Great college football weekend if you were into college football like me. But, you know, our Scarlet Knights went out there, hosted Howard University from the MEAC of the FCS level. Right there down in the DC area. Rutgers came away with the win 44-7. It was a very, very great game for Rutgers and his fan base. Let me just begin with that. I mean, the atmosphere, I mean, watching it on TV, talking to people that I know, you know, they said it was a great atmosphere. Students were lively. You know, so, and that's something that you definitely want to, you know, hear as a Rutgers Scarlet Knight fan. on offense or as a whole, Rutgers was led by last year's Big Ten leading rusher Kyle Monangai. He led the way with 19 carries for 165 yards and 1 touchdown. Also, transfer quarterback Ethan Kalik Manis. He went 15 of 24 for 147 yards and 3 touchdowns. One to Damir Miller, that was for 2 yards, to Samuel Brown for 34 yards, and to tight end Kenny Fletcher for 3 yards. In Kalik Manis, if you've been following Rutgers, he was efficient with his passings, and he played well. He made all the correct reads and correct plays in terms of his passing, not turning the ball over, and taking whatever the defense needed. Now, some of his receivers, they didn't help him. There were several drop passes, 2 of them that stalled drives. So, but that's something that Coach Schiano and the coaching staff will get into cleaning up. But it's good to see that in the passing game, that's starting to slowly be incorporated. Last year, shout out to Gavin Wimsatt, gave us everything that he had, but unfortunately, he wasn't the efficient passer that Kalik Manis was, and Kalik Manis won the competition, and Gavin ended up deciding to transfer back to his home state of Kentucky. And wish him well. Just not against Rutgers if we end up playing against Rutgers. But Kalik Manis was very efficient. He helped. You can see how he's going to help open up the offense a little bit. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be passing all over the field. That's not his game. He's more of a game manager for those who understand that terminology. What do I mean by, he just will get the football to his playmakers and allow his playmakers to take advantage of their skill set and do what they need to do to help this offense. And that's all this offense needs. That will also help the running game grow and get better. Now, when you think about it right now, if this offense in the first game, can come away with 329 rushing yards on 46 carries, and you have an efficient quarterback, like I said, 15 to 24, 147 yards, that helps this offense a lot. It may not seem like a lot to many people, but it does. It allows you to see that offense be more productive. Defenses have to play this offense honestly. They can't just sit there and load the box up with 8, maybe even 9 defenders. You have to stay true. Sometimes you're going to have to play single high. Sometimes you're going to have to play, too high. You're going to play back a little bit more. So, and that's what you saw with the offense. I mean, you saw Kenny Fletcher as a tight end. I mean, he's becoming more comfortable in the transitioning over to tight end from defensive end. You saw him make a lot of crossers, and while he was open, he secured the pass. That's the biggest thing. He's securing, and that allows the quarterback to become more comfortable as you go. Now, yes, you played Howard, so I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they beat one of the top teams in the country. But I do understand the level of competition and what I'm seeing. And like I said, if you can get over 300 yards, in this offense with a new quarterback against an FCS opponent. My level of expectation in the run game is going to be you'll see it much more efficiently used, but you'll also see the pass game where Kalik Manis will sit there and be efficient, and teams are going to have to be honest, and it's going to help this offense grow as the season goes along. Now, it's still a work in progress, and that's definitely something that I'm going to pay attention to as we go along. But in a passing game, when it helps your offense overall, especially a rushing attack, where Coach Schiano wants to have that type of rushing attack where you're facing balance in terms of offense and special teams, that's very important. And like I said, that's why Kalik Manis and what he brings as a quarterback to this offense it has been needed for the past couple of years. I'm glad to see that. Now, there are certain players who, need to continue to grow and develop. But I think over the course of the season, you will see that. And that's very important. Dymere Miller, he was the big pickup. You know, he's going to grow and he's going to continue to grow. You see some of the things he's able to do. You see the speed, but I also understand this is his first time playing, at in a big stadium like this, in a big time game like this, coming from Monmouth. So there's always going to be jitters. There's always going to be, nerves in terms of, your play as a new player at this level. So, but I see it. And I'm very confident and comfortable and excited with what I'm going to see from this offense. And that's also going to help that defense, and because, Coach Shayano always has a good defense. And when you have a good offense, that really helps you grow even more. So, but getting back to the offensive side, talked about the passing game. We talked about Kenny Fletcher, Dymere Miller, in terms of the receiver, the receiving game. You also have, let me pull this up, in the receiving game, Ian Strong. They even had Victor Konopka. That's what I mean by the tight end position. I mean, from the tight end position, you had 5 receptions for 43 yards and 1 touchdown. That's good. There was even balance, a good balance, I'm going to say, in terms of passing the ball. KJ Duff caught a pass. Chris Long caught a pass. Dymere Miller, like I said, Ian Strong, that's very good balance. And that's what this offense needs, because then it helps the offensive game. I mean, if you look at the depth in this offense, this running back room, 3 running backs alone, 165, 68, 49 yards. Now even adding Khalid Manis, 6 rushes for 43 yards. That helps this offense grow immensely, and that's what is needed. You're going to see that as the season grows along. Khalid Manis, yes, he's going to give it to the running backs for the most part. There was one play in the very beginning of the game in the first quarter. I even said he shouldn't have given it to Kyle Monungai because the defender was right by himself. But that's a learning process. And he learned as the game went along, 6 carries for 43 yards. And that helps. That helps the rushing game. Samuel Brown, he's getting back into form. You see that to me, he's fully recovered. He's also getting confident, in his running. So when he contributes 68 yards on 14 carries, that's what is needed. Kyle Monungai pretty much was done by the middle of the third quarter. And think about that. 165 yards by the middle of the third quarter. So if he played the whole game, could he have gotten 200 yards? Could he have gotten 210 yards? There's that possibility. But again, this offense is definitely going to continue to grow, especially when you have an efficient passing game. Now, I'm not talking about a dynamic passing game. Just be efficient. And then just let your offense eat up the clock at times. If you have the opportunity to go after explosive plays, take it. And Khalid Manis can give you that. There's a level of accuracy that, many Rutgers fans hasn't seen the past few years, but you see it with him. Now he's not pinpoint accurate, but he puts the ball in the area so he allows his receivers to go make a play on the football. And he doesn't put the football in harm's way. And I really like that. So 3 touchdowns in the first game. Okay, that's good. I'm not expecting 3 touchdowns per game. But in the same token, 2 of the touchdowns, really 3 of the touchdowns, I'll address the third one. But 2 of them were short yardage. Literally, they said there was a stat that said of Khalid Manis had 3 passes of 0 yard air yards to the receivers for those 3 touchdowns. So when you think about that, basically screen, little dump offs, and it's go. Samuel Brown, it was for 34 yards, but yeah, it was a dump off. I think it was more. He was more down the field, probably about 3-4 yards. I don't think it was no yards, but I'm not going to haggle over that. The point being is he's making the right reads, Callie McManus, and he's getting the ball to the right players. And that's what this offense needs. And as the season continues to grow, and he becomes more confident and becomes more comfortable, his teammates become more comfortable, and they're able to grow in this offense, you're going to see a lot from the Rutgers offense as the season goes on. And it's going to help this team, grow. Now I did say at the beginning of the year, Rutgers is going to be 8-4. Standing by that right now. I hope they go beyond that. I really do. But I'm also not going to sit here and say they're going to go 12-0. They're going to the college playoffs. No, I'm not saying that. I just want to see them 8-4, 9-3. If you can get to 10-2, okay, I'll take it. But I'm not saying you're going to be 10-2. People have said their schedule was easy, but in looking with what happened this weekend, it's gotten a lot tougher. Washington and USC are definitely going to be tough games in itself. They were already thought that way, but they're definitely going to be tough. I'm not saying they can't win them as they continue to grow as a team. Same thing with USC and Washington. You have Wisconsin. Those games are going to be tough as it is. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, of watching, this team continue to grow as a whole. On the other side of the ball, defensively, the defense was led linebacker Dario DeJambone. Starting linebackers during the preseason were out for injuries. Mohamed Toure, Mohamed Toure is out for the year. So he was out with an ACL. So, but Tareem was out because of an Achilles, that happened early in the year, and he's still recovering. And it was smart. Let him sit in his game. Don't put him out there and chance it. I don't even expect to see him in the next game. So, against Akron, I'll talk about that a little bit later. But again, Darrell started. We had two new starters at the linebacker position, and they did well. They really did. It wasn't a bad showing by him. Darrell had 14 tackles to lead the defense, and that's big right there. Every time you turned around, it looked like he was right. He was always in the play. So that's the big thing. So Chad, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. That's right, bro. You know how we do, man. Thank you again for being here. Jarius, man, thank you for tapping in, man. Make sure you guys hit the like button. I really appreciate you guys, stepping in and letting your voice be heard. But again, in terms of the defense, like I said, Darrell had 14 tackles. That's great, man. You also had the first score for the team was by a defensive player, Eric Rogers, pick 6, 52 yards, was in the right place at the right time. The pass was overthrown to the receiver, but the ball came right to him. He secured it and took off. Had some great blocking, and shout out to Kai Sanders, man. I mean, freshman. But when Rogers picked off the ball, Sanders was behind him. I think he was behind him by like 7 or 8 yards. But this kid broke. I mean, he took off Sanders to help his teammate to get a block, and he flew down the field and gave a great block, which allowed Rogers to get into the end zone. So, for a true freshman who was getting his first start to be able to do that, that's great. But like I said, Rogers pick 6. That's what that really sparked this team, woke this team up, because they were a little bit sluggish at first. But, when you're feeling things out, new quarterback, I get it. You're taking your time. You're trying to feel things out. Howard was, they were veteran. They had some veteran guys over there, and they were comfortable with what they were doing. But that pick six opened up Rutgers. They woke up Rutgers, and from there, it was so but kudos to Howard. They didn't give up. They continued to fight even to the very last end. But Rutgers was the bigger, stronger program. They had deeper, with the amount of talent that they had. But again, like I said, I was talking about Howard's offense. Jay Sean Scroggins was their starting quarterback. He went 14 of 25, 116 yards. That one interception, which was critical, but also in the run game, 12 carries for 67 yards. He gave Rutgers problem, in terms of his movement. And that's something that, Coach Yano has to clean up. They definitely have to clean that up going forward, because other teams across the league are going to pay attention to that. And if they have a mobile quarterback, you're going to see a lot of the same things. Now, this is FCS level. So if you're playing against FBS programs, they're going to attack you more efficiently and more effectively. And the expectation is they're going to produce more. So, but Rutgers is in a good position. I appreciate the game. Now, look, I'll talk about the end in a little bit. I know the final score was 44-7. Last night in the heart of city, during Coach's Corner, I said, for me, it's 38-7. And there's a reason why, which led to some controversy at the end. So, but let me just finish up on the defensive end. And Darrell, led the defense, like I said. I wish we had more sacks. I think Rutgers had one sack during the whole game, so that's something that needs to be worked on, in terms of getting opportunities to secure sacks. There were times that they could have, but again, Scroggins was able to get outside the pocket, and that's one of the things that, helped him and helped Howard not give up a great deal of sacks, because there was great defensive penetration into the Howard's offensive backfield. So, but again, just things that, Rutgers has to do to clean up the things that you saw in this game, so they can be better defensively, and this defense can continue to grow. Now, they have a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. So it's just, like I said, it's just going to take time for them to develop and get and play better in terms of their a full defensive concept. So, but I'm really excited for what I'm seeing. And like I said, my expectation is 8-4. And there's no change from that, from what I saw in that first game, and I'm expecting them, to be honest with you, to improve offensively, defensively, special teams. They were good. Everything was fine. Jay Patel, kicker, whether it's kicking long field goals, short field goals. I'm confident he's going to hit a high percentage of his kicks. The kickoff and the punt coverage was there. A couple of times I was wondering, or it seemed like they were going for the blocks, but they didn't get there. Going to take some time. So, but I'm really excited for what I'm seeing in terms of this Rutgers offense, what they're looking to bring to the table. I just can't speak enough about that offense, and also as far as the entire football program as a whole, man. There's a lot of young talent there, but there's also good veteran leadership incorporated into all aspects of the program. So, and it's just going to help this football program going forward. So, but that's enough for me rambling on about that. So let me see what I'm looking for here. Here we go. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So, but next thing I want to talk about in terms of this football program. Let me get this set. This is not going to come up. Do apologize. I was looking for something specifically. Oh, here it is. And there we go. That's what I'm looking for. It's not gonna play. I thought it was gonna play. Sorry. Something that I created, a little video, but it's I gotta figure out what I did wrong. I do apologize about that. I was excited to play it. So but getting back to how do you think they'll do against Virginia Tech? Right now, bro, I'm not thinking about Virginia Tech. Right now, my only focus is Akron. I'm in coach mode now. Sorry, bro. I'm not going to be a fan anymore. A fan like that. I'm going to be focused on being a coach right now. So, right now, it's about Akron. That's where my mind is. As a fan, as a coach, as a player. Next game up, can't think about that. And that's also how Coach Chiano brings it to the table. His mantra with Chop is staying focused on the task at hand. And the task at hand is preparing for Akron. As fans, that's what our focus would be. And I get it. Fans are, we always do look ahead. We always project and things of that nature. And there's nothing wrong with that. But right now, Coach Edd's in coaching mode, with Rutgers. It's about Akron, so, but yeah, that's where I'm at. Oh, my notes. Where are my notes at? Here we go. All right. So, the next thing I want to talk about is the controversy at the end of the game. So, for those of you, if you saw the game, which is what I was talking about earlier, at the last second, running back, actually seventh string running back, Antoine Raymond, he scored at the end of the game, an 11-yard touchdown run, which, caused a little controversy, and why I said earlier it's 38-7, because number one, I mean, credit to Raymond. He had the opportunity to score. Usually when you're on the back end of the roster like that, you're going to take every opportunity to score. That's just the reality of it. Rutgers was, working on, getting some players some reps, and I get it. I understand, but the last play of the game, when you have the game secured, sometimes it's, what? That's not to puts anyone in position to possibly get hurt first and foremost. Take the knee. You could have done that. It would have been the same results. It just would have been a different score. That's how I see it. Now on the play, Raymond went right up the middle. That's where the play was designed. Howard had, it was three guys there that, had the opportunity that either hit him or had the opportunity to make the tackle and not allow him to score. So Howard has a certain percentage of culpability in the whole situation, but I also understand where Howard's head coach, Larry Scott, was not happy. During the post game, they asked him in reference to that, and he was quoted as saying, "I think we're both competitive people. In that situation, I would choose to handle it a little bit differently." So basically, what he's saying is kind of what I'm saying. What I would have done is just taken a knee. So now he says I can't speak for him, Coach Chiano. I have a lot of respect for Coach Chiano, what he's done and what he's been able to do. We're both competitive. And in that situation, just a little bit of frustration came out because I thought it would have been handled differently, but he might as well. So basically when you read into that, that's just what I said. He's saying that, look, if it was me, I would have taken a knee, yeah, I understand the competitive aspect. I understand getting work for your guys. You do have a lot of respect for both. Each coach has a lot of respect for each other, but, it does get you frustrated. It does leave you thinking you're trying to run up the score. But no, Coach Chiano isn't. Was it a bad decision? Yes. I really genuinely think Coach Chiano was just thinking he's going to get his guys some work. He get them a rep, run them up the middle. Howard will make the tackle, and that'll be the end of it. But the guys, Howard didn't make the tackles, and he ended up scoring. And kudos for him. So That's the way it is. Let me get caught up on the chat. Oh, I forgot they played that action. I thought the next game was average. No, you're fine, bro. That's no problem. Um, well, let's hope so. I think the early line is 27.5 for Rutgers to win. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So and back to the controversy, Coach Yano, in defending himself, basically what I said, getting for the work first week of the season. Sometimes we tend to forget in college, they don't have preseason games. It's not like the NFL. You go through training camp and boom, you go right into your first game. So it is difficult. And don't forget, you have 100+ kids on your roster. So I do understand. I don't agree with the decision, but I do understand it. I really do understand. You got kids, and it's not just the running back, it's the offensive line, it's the tight end, it's the receivers. And if you're on the defensive side of the ball, there's things you're going to do with younger players, getting them some rep, because of it's a long season. Injuries are going to come up. They really are. And you want to have these kids ready. There's also getting them ready for the future. And that's what's important, in terms of a program like this. Yes, Rutgers has a lot of seniors on its too deep, but you also have a lot of young, talented players, and you have to get them ready. Coach Yano is doing, and the staff is doing a great job in recruiting, changing this program around. They're doing a good job in recruiting, getting the recruiting ranks up into the mid-20s. At one point in the season, they were in the top 10. So those are things that you look at, in terms of this program going forward, in terms of what they're trying to do, for the football program, for this community. I mean, that's also what's a big thing that, it's a small thing, not a big thing, but it's an important thing. It builds, it builds up this community. Fans want to see it. I mean, I know the misery that most of us fans felt, during the Chris Ash era. That's total utter disgusting football. And nobody, I mean, and anyone knows me knows I'll watch and deal with any type of football. It doesn't matter. I didn't want to watch a lot of Chris Ash's games, because it was an atrocity of a program at that point in time. The recruiting, the level of recruiting, they were literally recruiting mid to low level FCS level talent to come up here and play, so he didn't understand this market, him coming from the Midwest. So, but now you have the right man in place in Coach Yano. He's getting the right people built around him. He's teaching them. So going forward, when his time is done, because it eventually will, hopefully it'll be, maybe 10 years down the road, 15, maybe, hopefully. But, he's getting everyone ready. So, and that's what's important, with this program going forward. And I think they're doing a good job in reference to this. So just bear with me, my headsets. Hold on a second, guys. I'm starting to lose my headsets. Do that. Got to charge it up real quick. But again, the future, with what Shiano is doing, which is why I understand, why he wanted to get those players reps even to the very last play. He's also teaching his players, we always compete. We never stop competing. And that is important. It really is, because they're going to run into situations in games where, it's a tight game. You can't give up. You got to understand, you compete the full 60 minutes, no matter what. So, those are things that are very important for these young players going forward. So, but again, in terms of that controversy, I get it. I understand where Shiano's coming from. I understand where Scott is coming from. Shiano even said, in terms of getting guys some reps, he said, guys practice all training camp. They deserve to play. There was no running it up. If it was running up, you don't use timeouts when you have the ball. You let the game in. And what he's saying there, when, Howard had the ball, they were calling timeouts when the game was in hand, but they're also trying to. So, that is sometimes lost in the whole thing. Everyone gets caught in, okay, the game is over, let's take it easy. But no, you still have to compete no matter what. It wasn't a retaliatory aspect. They were just running plays. And as he said, we bring a team here to play us. We bring them here. We bring them in. We've got to win, and we've got to get reps. And they were there. We took them, and that's basically it. So, but again, like I said, I do understand. I understand everything. Sometimes you don't like it. I didn't like the decision Coach Yano did, but I do understand, and you move on. You learn to move on. So now, adversity. So it's going to be. I don't want to say an interesting game, but it's going to be an interesting challenge for this program, especially, excuse me, coming off of, that last little bit of controversy. Some people are going to try and talk about it. But Mosley, what's up, bro? Thanks for tapping in, man. I really appreciate you, man. So, yeah, exactly. Go Rutgers, so. But Akron, does have a mobile quarterback. They're an FBS program. They're from the MAC, the Mid American Conference, so they're like a mid major. So they can cause problems, which is also why Rutgers is only a favorite at a 27.5-point favorite. So, but they're going to need to come in here. They're going to need to step up, and they're going to need to clean up a lot of things. Usually, you see the most improvement from your first game to the second game. And that's what Rutgers is going to need to do. They're going to need to continue to improve. Yes, it gets a little bit harder, because the level of competition steps up, but that's what you want. As a competitor, that's what you want to do. You want to always give your best effort. You want to compete to the fullest extent of your abilities, and let's see where things lie. Akron is a step up over Howard. Now, I'm not saying they're on par with a lot of the other teams like Virginia Tech, which Rutgers faces, and the other Big Ten schools. No, Akron is not on that level, but it's still a step up. So they have to respect that this school is going to take a look at what Howard did, and they're going to try and do some of the same things that Howard did to attack the defense. And then when they're on defense, they're going to do a lot of the same things that Howard did when they had success. So I'm looking forward to this game. It's actually Saturday at noon. So, if you're going to the game, go ahead, get out there, tailgate, have a good time, go root our Scarlet Knight on. If you're watching, then, you'll be able to turn it on and watch it on TV, like I said, at 12 noon. So, I want to see, if Rutgers has cleaned up a lot of the things, for example, receivers that were dropping passes. When the opportunity comes again, you better secure the ball and make a play. Also, will they take some deep shots down the field? Because Rutgers really did not do that. I think some of that is also because they were playing Howard, and there was no need to put that on film for other teams to prepare for. So, let's see if, you can stretch the field with some of the guys. And you take it from there. How do you improve in the run game? How do you clean up a lot of, misblocked opportunities to, attack your opposition? So, studying what Ohio State did against them. This is also a bit, to me, what I like to say sometimes, a Big Ten measuring stick. And what do I mean by that? The Ohio State University just played them. Well, guess what? This is where you measure up where you are. Let's come out, look at the film. How did Ohio State attack them? What did they do to have success? Are you capable of doing some of the similar things? And if you are, let's go out here and execute. So because that's an important aspect, that is needed for this program to continue to grow and develop. As Coach Yano says, this is a developmental program. Well, this is the opportune time for them to continue to develop and grow their program. So I'm looking forward to, what they're going to do in this game and see what Akron does, in reference to it. So, but continue on. Let's go Scarlet Knight. Continue to fight on, for our program. So, but in terms of other elements of the Rutgers program, oops. You had, soccer is already in full effects. You have cross country, you have volleyball playing. Tomorrow, actually, Rutgers women's volleyball is at number 21 Arkansas for volleyball. And then on the 6th, which is Friday, cross country is down at Princeton. So field hockey is at Monmouth. So, you're going to see some action there, as well as other sports opportunities. So one opportunity I want to talk about is the Rutgers. Oops, let me bring it up. Is the Rutgers men's soccer program. It's been a little up and down. They've had a loss here or there, but they've had some wins. One of the recent ones is against Lehigh University. They beat Lehigh 2-0. Now, Lehigh was very productive, taking quite a few shots, 15. They had only 2 on goal, but Rutgers had 7, but had 5 shots on goal. So they didn't have to have any saves. So that means it's a good defense. So I really like what I'm seeing about this program. They're 3-1 right now on the season. Like I said, they had, one down. One loss, and then they're also fighting hard to continue to grow the program. There have been times where this when you play, it's going to change. But they're continuing to build the program, because I remember when they were in total despair, in total, as they say, totally in the toilet. Say that a lot, man. That's a lot. But they're continuing to recruit. They're continuing to build the program, and hopefully they can get into the upper part of the conference. Especially with new programs like Washington, Oregon, UCLA, and USC. I know UCLA has good programs, Olympic programs. So this is something that the men's program is going to need to continue to build upon, in terms of growing their athletic program, soccer program. So, but shout out to them for the win against Lehigh. I'm going to be, continue to keep bringing you more updates on, the different sports within the athletic program, because I do love Rutgers, so, that's what's, mightily important for this program. So, and all the continuing games that are going to be there for this weekend, this program. So, one of the things I forgot to talk about the football game. This is the annual Our Community Game, a celebration of the Edd Gladney's Walk to Believe. It's a way of trying to help donate, raise money for spinal cord research. So if you have the opportunity, pull up, donate to the Edd Gladney Fund, the Walk to Believe program. Because it's an issue. It's something that you don't think about. I deal with spinal issues myself, every day. So it's important that we go ahead and continue to contribute to, help grow or help research and find better ways of, overcoming the issues from spinal issues. So next, I just wanted to talk about Rutgers wrestler Alex Ninny. He's a freshman. He's going to be representing Rutgers wrestling and Team Italy this weekend at the Under-20 World Championships in Pontevedra, Spain. He'll be competing at 65 kilograms freestyle. So, and that begins Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern time. So, good luck to him. go out there and continue to represent Rutgers. Rutgers usually does have is continue to grow the wrestling program, and you definitely have good talent coming into this program. So looking forward to seeing what his results will be. So last thing I want to get into, it's not a good one, but there's some controversy that's going on within the athletic department. Previously, I spoke about former athletic director Pat Hobbs, who resigned. He just up and resigned. Said it was because talking to his cardiology team, they felt it was best that he resign. Okay, never want to put anyone in harm's way. If you got to resign, then you resign. But there's now rumors that are coming out, and there's also an investigation that's going on into Pat Hobbs when he was here, but also the women's gymnastics. So there's two parts to this. So, but the first thing is Rutgers University president Jonathan Holloway. They did an internal investigation into all this, and now he's requested an external investigation into the Rutgers gymnastics program. Because of that, and because of the possible improper relationship that former AD Pat Hobbs may have had with a coach within the athletic department. We don't know who. Nothing has been reported, but it's just now it's starting to become it's strange. You up and resign. Basically, you have a 4-year contract still on the table, and at a total of $1.3 million per year. So, that's a lot of money. That's literally $4 or $5 million a year. I mean, $5 million total that you just left on the table. And I don't know most people who are just going to walk away from $4 or $5 million unless your hands are dirty. And that's a concern to me, because this organization, this athletic department, represents Rutgers, represents New Jersey, and it's worked hard because when Hobbs came in, he came in to clean up issues from the former AD, Julie Herman, who did not do a good job. And even prior to that, the AD prior to that, where there's a lot of controversy with the Mike Rice. And then, after that, like I said, under Julie Herman, Kyle Flood, with improper attempts to basically bribe a professor for a athlete. So, but getting back to Pat Hobbs and an external investigation, now I'm not saying that he and the gymnastic head coach was having a relationship. Her name is Ume Salim Beasley. But, it's kind of strange because, it's been reported that, Beasley fostered a toxic culture of bullying, exclusion, and favoritism. That led to 7 gymnastic members quitting the team. And that's a lot, man. They quit because of, all of these issues. They did go to Pat Hobbs and complained, and basically it fell on deaf ears. Hobbs didn't do anything, to support the student athletes. That's your number one job. I get you're supposed to some will say no, his job is supposed to generate money through funding and help grow the athletic program. Well, the student athletes are the athletic program. So his job is to be there to take care of them. He didn't take their complaints, seriously in that regard. He kind of brushed them off. And then, we hear, you get your resignation, or you turn in your resignation, walking away from the 4 years left on your contract. He was always at the gymnastic events, even at practice. And it's just strange, that, okay, you go and resign, and there's this evidence that's there that something is going on. You didn't protect the students. You basically protected the coach. You allowed the coach to do whatever, she wanted to do. Now, again, I don't know the facts, but in terms of everything that I've read, these are the facts. These are, look, there's a way to push athletes. There really is. I've pushed athletes. I've challenged athletes. And that's the thing as a coach you want to do. You want to have good balance, though. You want to push them, but you also want to reward them, and you want to comfort them when the times are necessary. It's just like being a parent. You can't be tough on your kids all the time. You got to know when to come back and back down and be there. Otherwise you're going to have a toxic relationship. That's some BS. It's some sleazy people in college athletics, bro. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. And that's why this is hard for me. But, like I said last night, I'm going to speak out about it. First and foremost, look, I'm a girl dad. I raised 3 daughters. I'm a girl granddad. I'm going to be there protecting my granddaughter, especially if others who are in leadership position aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if people, curse me out, whatever. Right is right, wrong is wrong. So, even Governor Phil Murphy, he was, the reporters had talked to him, and he had given certain statements. One point he was quoted as saying, "Real ugly and very disturbing." That is, he said that I know there's an investigation underway, so I don't want to preempt that. I have no insight into that, but that was really ugly and very disturbing. I reached out to Rutgers at the highest level. I know they have an internal investigation going on, but that was That was a pretty disgusting set of facts in the paper. We shall see. Again, like I said, there was an article in NJ.com, the new or the state paper, which is the Star Ledger, which spoke about that, and went into detail with a lot of information that they, uncovered in reference to what's going on. So any coach, you can't have a toxic environment, man. These kids are there to compete, form bonds, form relationships, get an education, because that's what you don't also understand. Sometimes coaches, they forget. Those kids are there to get an education. They're on scholarship, and yeah, you have to win to keep your job, but they also have to do what they're supposed to do to maintain their scholarship, but also walk away with an education. To me, that's what's most important. Yes, everybody wants to win. They want to be on, Sports Center and get into all the media. Coaches want to get all the money, but what's most important is molding young men and women to be in the future, to be key contributors, maybe even key leaders to our society. On there and lo and behold, if it was my daughter or granddaughter, we gonna have problems. I have a daughter too, bro. That's why I salute you for your position in women's sports. Yeah, you know how I am, man. I fully embrace and support women's sports. Because look, sports is not just about the men. And you shouldn't be treating women differently than the men. Period. Case closed. I don't want it to hear that, oh, well, men are stronger and this or that, or, everyone wants, okay, that's fine. Everybody wants to see the men. I get it. I watch women's sports, and I've always been watching women's sports, since I was young. In my high school, going to the women's game. Lucky thing, our high school basketball program, the women's program was tops in the state. So it was always a packed house. That's why I grew to appreciate it. But in terms of how you treat these women, these young ladies, it sets a precedent for their lives. It also impacts our community. You represent us. You represent not just Rutgers, but the state of New Jersey. because Rutgers is the state university of New Jersey. And if there's an issue here, the first things some people are going to think, oh, that's how they act in New Jersey. And people who know me and have heard me say it time and time again, perception is reality. Well, we got to break that. We got to correct that. And hopefully this investigation will turn up everything. Pat Hobbs has resigned. Great, no problem. He moves on, but we correct and put in place whatever we need to do, in terms of, rules, regulations, whatever it is you need to do, put it in place. So then that way, no future anyone runs into situations like this, and give the coaches the proper resources to coach. They don't feel too much pressure, or you're going to feel pressure, but you don't want to feel that you have to do whatever, risk it all, because you got to try and keep your job. Look, you got to win, yes, but make sure the coaches have all the resources, training. I'm talking about training. I'm not talking about just, tools and facilities and all of that. I'm talking about training. How do you handle certain situations? How do you push your athletes in a respectful manner? But, how do you push your athletes to the point that, they're going to enjoy being out there competing? Yes, you're going to run into some athletes that are always going to try and push the narrative, and they want to take the easy route. No, I'm not talking about those. Those athletes, get them off your team whatever way you can. Pull their scholarship, whatever. I don't know the rules and the regulations now. I'm just saying, those athletes, I'm not talking about them, but I'm talking about those who were genuinely there to compete, to be student athletes. Give them a fair opportunity to compete. You lose your opportunity, that's a different story. If the player next to you, man or woman, beats you out fair and square, then they have to learn to deal with that. And if you go crying because you lost your position, but it was fair and square, no, you go and sit down and you figure out a way how to improve your talents so you can go back out there and you can compete for the university and represent this great university, this great state, and the great people who love this university and state. So, and again, hopefully, they'll be able to clean it up, like I said. So, but I'm going to get ready to get out of here, man. I really appreciate you all for being here today, man. This was truly phenomenal. My boy, my brother, NYG22, also known as Unpopular Opinion Sports. Bro, I love you, and thank you for always being here. Mosley, thanks for always tapping in, brother. I know you're doing your thing with the Central Jersey Vikings. Hopefully one day I'll be able to get out there and see you play, meet you face to face, and, give you my little coaching perspectives. Jarius, thank you for tapping in. Chad Schrader, my brother, you know how we do, man. Clap, clap. Yeah, you know what it is. So Tudo's a Scarlet Knight alum, but he's playing internationally with rugby, doing his thing. Always love you, bro. You're always there, supporting me, the rest of the Big Blue crew, and everyone. So thank you. Daniel Berry, thank you for tapping in. You're always one of the first ones. So I appreciate you. So again, thanks everyone. If you have any other suggestions, please, even though I'm not live, put it in the chat, because I do come back and I do check out my chats from time to time. And I do see if, anyone has any suggestions that can help me get better. Hey, I'm here trying to grow and learn. But some people are giving me different suggestions, and I'm trying, and you could tell I'm trying things as we go. But again, if you have suggestions, put it in the chat. I come back later and I do check. And, if it's something that I can do and it's going to help what I'm doing, great, I'm going to do it, because it's doing nothing but helping me grow this, you guys grow it. Always make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notifications so you know when I post new content. Always share on all social media platforms. It's a really great thing. To the Jersey Bearcats, thank you for always supporting me, being a sponsor. All my sponsors, man, you guys are great, man. And I love that you guys are here to help me and support me. So the Bearcats, Get Out Travels, the League of Lions, Stitched by a Tranny, Jersey, Silverbacks. Thank you to everyone, man. I mean, it's truly been a blessing and an honor, and I love doing this, especially for Rutgers, so, and those of you who are here watching, supporting, thank you all. So, but with that being said, this old coach is about ready to get out of here. But I'm going to close out like I always say, in sports, make sure you turn it on and turn it up. Peace.
Yo, I'm reppin' Rutgers, yeah, we do it for the R. Scarlet nice, flexing hard, yeah, we gonna raise the bar. All the pride in New Jersey, man, we stand tall and proud. From the Brunswick to the shore, we gon' turn it up real loud. Athletics in our veins, we hustle, we grind. The streets to East Coast, so it's on our mind. Red and black, we attack, yeah, we never fall back. In the heart of the game, Rutgers putting up the stats.
Jersey strong, yeah, we doing it right. For the R, for the thumping, we gon' fight all night. East Coast energy, hit 'em with the hype. Rutgers on the project, taking that flight.
From the glassroom to the field, we excel, we win. Got the spirit of the all, let the games begin. We represent the Garden State. Hustle great, no debate. Determination in our eyes, nah, we don't hesitate. We got strength, we got heart. Every play, every ball. Loyalty in our soul from the end to the start. It's a Rutgers way, never sway. Steady on our grind with the pride of New Jersey success we gon' find.
Jersey strong, yeah, we doing it right. For the R, for the club, we gon' fight all night. East Coast energy, hit 'em with the hype. Rutgers on the project, taking that flight.
Yo, and it's the end still a raw. Scarlet Knights, here a sword. Champion the spirit, break it down every door. Red wave rising, see the power in our stride. With the hearts of a night, we got that Jersey pride. When the lights is bright on that Saturday night, Rutgers spirit burning, shining in the fight. In every passing jack, who we blaze with desire. In the halls of the Ivy, setting the field of fire. From the alumni to the youth, we carry the flame. United by the banner, and every single